My name is Christopher Kennedy. I'm a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner out of Salt Lake City, Utah. My favorite hobby is Jiu-Jitsu. My second favorite hobby is any other martial art. For me, Jiu-Jitsu is the art of adaptability, and apart from simply learning about other martial arts, I want to see how well a Jiu-Jitsu practitioner can adapt when training a completely different martial arts style. An art is a conscious production or arrangement that affects the senses. Martial is an adjective that connects a noun to Mars, who was the god of war. So essentially, a martial art is a warlike production that affects the senses. This can range anywhere from something as gentle as doing a form in your living room, all the way up to something as violent as actual war. So martial arts is an extremely broad category. Unfortunately, there are many people that just associate the term martial arts with only one or two pieces of the whole. Recently I came across one of these people at an exhibition match that I witnessed between an MMA fighter and a ninjutsu practitioner. Both fighters looked really good, but I was actually significantly more impressed with the demeanor of the ninjutsu guy. He looked super ready for the fight. He looked very calm and he looked extremely athletic. Unfortunately, when the fight started, the ninjutsu guy only got in like a slap or something before the MMA guy threw a few punches, took him down, and then just did ground and pound on top of him until the ninjutsu guy tapped out. The fight was pretty short, maybe about 2 minutes long, and when it was done, some ignorant fellow stands up and says something like, "Sitting on top of somebody and hitting them isn't martial arts." In fact, controlling somebody in your mount while striking them in front of an audience is a warlike production. And this is a point that I want to get across in this video. Your system or systems that you've trained in are unique, and most likely they're one-sided in one way or another. Something they all have in common, however, is that they are all warlike in some fashion. One martial art that is probably more warlike in its attitude than any other unarmed system that I've come across is Krav Maga. Krav Maga has been ridiculed by contemporary martial artists and by traditional martial artists alike for various reasons. For example, they don't spar in Krav Maga, so you could say they don't spar, how can they call themselves a true fighting style? Or they don't practice any forms or meditation or anything like that, so how can they classify themselves as a real martial art? Well, I had the same question, so I decided to visit a Krav Maga gym with a very good reputation, Dojo 3, Worldwide Krav Maga. The gym I went to was in Renton, Washington, a little bit south of Seattle. I didn't do a lot of filming while I was there, but I did do enough training to see what Krav Maga was all about. And I did do enough filming to give you guys an idea of what it's all about as well. So let's check it out. So I just had my first practice at Dojo 3. I went to a beginner level Krav Maga class. It was a lot of fun. I can already tell that I'm going to need to work on my aggression. At this gym, they are extremely aggressive, which is something that I am not accustomed to, because Jiu-Jitsu is a very relaxed style of martial arts. Something somewhat unique about Krav Maga is that they focus completely on self-defense. They don't focus on sport at all. That being said, there are other martial arts that focus primarily on self-defense as well. So something that is completely unique about Krav Maga that I've noticed already is the aggression. The level of aggression is really high. They had us do an activity today in class where they put a few striking pads in the middle of the room, and they said that our goal was to run out, grab a pad, and punch it as hard and as fast as we could. If there's one thing Krav Maga excels at, it's shaping the mentality of its fighters to prepare them for a confrontation. Here's a sample.
Fights are broken down to like milliseconds. They're not done in seconds or minutes. Right? And if you cannot stay on the balls of your feet, you're flat-footed, you're stagnant, you can't move. Right? And the last fight I was in, I'm pretty sure I didn't end up in the same spot it started in. Got it? It is a basic thing. No athlete across any sport spectrum does anything on their heels, besides a bowler. Got it? Tennis, golf, anything. Your weight is shifted to the balls of your feet. Stay in guard. Right, then his leg locked behind my back, ankles crossed. That way he's trying to sustain my body position, right? I need to strike. I could be doing palm strikes, but since we're hitting a pad, we're gonna stick the hammers right in. Right? When we switch, we go to the mount, he's gonna sit on top of me with the pad. Boom, 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 boom. Where would I be hitting? Right to the groin, boom, right to the chin. You guys got it? Then I can block the rest of the jiu-jitsu stuff. I can block it. Come on, Eric. Ready? Block. Are you ready? It's gonna be fast, right? Do I want to have to change my mentality behind a knife and a punch?
Yeah.
Right? Because look, don't move, because I would stab you. It's the same attack. It's the same attack. If you have to decide if there's a weapon, and this is pretty dark, I don't think this would be too shiny at nighttime. If you have to decide if there's a weapon in their hand, right when you're like, oh, what's happening? You're gonna die.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
Right? And this is still semi-shiny. What if it was a black blade? What if it was shorter? What if it didn't click coming out? What if it was already out and they were walking up to you, boom, and they just stabbed you? Our defenses are the same from level 1 to level 4. And level 4 we do knife stabs instead. And you know what it looks like? The same thing that you guys are doing now. Well, it's supposed to look like what you're supposed to be doing. Does that make sense? Because you don't have time in a fight, in a street fight, when there's no rules going, that you're going to be like, okay, what's in his hand? How's he going to strike me? It's infinite. There's an infinite amount of attacks that are going to come after you. If you can minimize thinking to the least amount of choices, you're going to increase your chances of survival. Does that make sense? So I block punches like it's a stab. I block haymakers like it's a stab or a stick. It's all the same. They transition very well from 1, 2, 3, and 4 in Krav Maga. Right? You guys are treating it like we're a boxer. Like I have boxing gloves on and I want to make these small defenses up here. How about you do a stabbing defense like this and see how you do? Yeah, you're going to die, right? Don't treat it as a boxing match. We're not boxers. Boxers are great at boxing, right? Put a knife in one of the boxer's hands, things change. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right? Think attack on your defenses. Because as strong as Brian is, your defensive position is not going to stop his attack. My strike back against his arm might stop it. But even on top of that, the boom punch to the face is going to be the thing that's actually going to put him in his heels and take off the power from his strike. The fact that my 360 defense is supposed to block the attack behind the shoulder. How many of you guys hit that? Why do we block behind the shoulder? 2 reasons. A, there's less power. My muscle's so stretched out, I'm behind my body. And then if it was a stab, can I re-pull it back to stab again? No. But if I'm here and you defend it, I can very much now pull it back, boom, and then come in a different angle. Why? Because my hand's already forward. Block it back here. There's no more, or there's less at least. Your chances of survival goes up. Don't take the little things your instructors say day in and day out for granted. Every detail matters, because in Krav Maga, there's not a lot of details. So what's your opinion of Krav Maga so far?
It's very tenacious, way more than any other martial art I've done. And it's very like lots of perseverance.
Especially in level 1. If you like, kind of the gist, I guess. Level 1 is like going to say, okay, I'm going to take you, who's a doctor, never been in a fight in your life, you know, probably never killed a bug in your life, you know, like you're like throw it outside the house, you know, and then say, okay, now you're going to get jumped, you're going to get mugged, you know, if you're a woman, you're going to get potentially raped or whatever, you know, it's like, and I'm going to take you, you're a super passive, you know, never played a sport in your life person, and say, I'm going to teach you to fight in a short duration, you know, like we don't have karate or anything where it's going to be like, hey, are you ready to devote 8 years of your life to become good? Like, you know, they're going to devote 8 months, maybe.
Now, this trip wasn't as pleasant as some of the other trips I've taken, simply because it rains so much in Washington. When I go to a new area, I like to explore. Since it was always wet and cold in Renton, I didn't get the chance to get out of my car and walk around as much as I would have liked to. On the days that I did get out, though, I saw some of the most beautiful gardens that I've ever seen in my life. This is a place called the Kabuto Stroll Garden. And I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Kabuto is a Japanese guy who came over after World War II and started building this garden. And I think he only built about half of it before he died. And then the rest was built by, well, other people who just wanted to carry it on. Anyway, it's completely free to get into, and it is absolutely gorgeous. I saw some joggers here, and I saw some people walking their dogs, and then there were some other people like me who were just walking around. But if any of you are ever in the Seattle area and you're looking for something to do, you should go check this place out. Wish I'd come here with jogging shoes. I'm not gonna have time to check out the whole garden. It's pretty big. After training in a new martial art for a few weeks, I generally like to enter myself into some sort of tournament or competition to test my newly acquired skills. There is no such thing as a Krav Maga tournament, however. So instead, I've decided to finish up this video by sharing a couple of Krav Maga techniques with you guys. Some pistol disarms. And then, after sharing the techniques, I'm actually going to test out one of the techniques on an airsoft pistol. So let's see how it goes. Hey, this is Chris Kennedy again. We're going to be going over some Krav Maga techniques.
Hello, this is Dustin Collier. This is going to be our practice pistol. It is an airsoft gun.
So I just learned these moves recently, and what the instructor was saying was that if they're within reach, you don't want to lift your hands up. Even if you think that might bring your hands closer to the gun, it can choreograph your moves more obviously. So instead, with this one, while your hands are still down, you lift your hand and grab the gun. Simultaneously, as you grab the gun, you move your body out of the way. Follow that up with a strike. Then reach under the gun and grab the top of it, hold back, and take the weapon. The second defense, you really need to reach your arm really far back. If you don't, you might miss the elbow and it won't work. So reach the arm very far back until you can get behind his elbow, and you're actually going to pull it forward. It's not a smack, but it's a pull. And then you hug the arm in, controlling it. After establishing control of the arm, you reach up and grab the slide of the gun. The arm that controls the hand that holds the gun is going to pull in and kind of straighten out the elbow until you're able to reach over and grab the gun with both hands. From there, you turn towards the arm that holds the pistol until you're able to get the gun. Or potentially hurt his hand. So these are great techniques for their individual situations. I do, however, see a few flaws in each of them that I'd like to point out. The first flaw I see in this technique is that I don't think somebody would be holding the gun so close to the person that they're trying to attack or rob. I feel like it'd be much more likely that he'd be further away where I couldn't reach the gun. If that were the case, if he really did want to shoot me, I would not have time to get in and defend myself. He'd probably shoot me before I was able to close the distance. However, best case scenario, they're close enough for you to grab the gun and it'll work. So not a whole lot of flaws in that one. I particularly liked this defense because I felt like the situation would actually be more likely. I do, however, see more flaws in this one.
The fact that if their elbow is like not,
oh yeah,
if it's down like this, you're not going to be able to reach it at all.
That's a good point. A major flaw is if their elbow is down or if their elbow's tucked at all, you're not going to be able to reach it to do the technique. And the second major flaw I saw was getting out from this position. I feel like if the man was stronger than me, I wouldn't be able to turn away from him to get away and pull the gun away. I do, however, feel like even if he was stronger than me, I'd still be able to get away if I turned into him and ducked out. So that's the way I'm going to choose to practice this technique personally. To demonstrate that, we're actually going to do this full speed, and Dustin's job is going to be to not let me go. Yeah, at first I tried turning the other way. It didn't work. You were still holding on just as tight for the other escape too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't let up.
So we're actually going to give it a try. This is an airsoft gun. Dustin is going to try to shoot me when he sees me move. And not before. Sweet. The other way is you say put your hands up.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna go this.
Right.
Or this.
Hands up. Woo! Oh, that was scary.
Is that gonna ruin the gun at all?
I don't think so.
Sweet.
Let's see if it still works. Yep, still works.
Okay.
Oh, it got my shoulder.
Okay. But still, 3 out of 4, not bad.
Yeah.
And I mean, I wouldn't have a shoulder anymore. Hopefully this only happened 3 times in my life. You wanna try any?
I don't know.
Dude. Good job.
Thanks.
Nice.
It's not fully loaded again. There it goes.
You good? Keep going?
Sure.
Let's aim for 4 times, okay? That's 2.
All right. Oh, right in the chest.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Wanna do it one more?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Nice. So doing it 8 times, Dustin did it 4 times, I did it 4 times, grabbing the gun from the hip. Each of us got shot once, so it's not foolproof. I got shot once here in the shoulder. So the lesson I learned is that when I'm reaching up to grab the pistol, I need to do a better job at moving myself out of the way.
And I got shot right in the heart. So I don't know what lessons I learned. I guess be faster.
I really did have a lot of fun training Krav Maga. Had a lot of fun visiting a new area as well, meeting some new people. And I always like trying out new styles. One of the reasons I wasn't crazy about Krav Maga, however, was how little emphasis they put on technique. An example of what I'm talking about, my first week at this gym, I walked into one of the beginning Krav Maga classes, and there was a class of 8 people. Sometime during practice, we did an exercise. The teacher, she separated us into 2 separate groups, 2 groups of 4. She had one team go on one side of the room and the other team go on the other side of the room. And then she took 4 plastic pistols and put them in the center. And we were all facing an opponent, someone from the other team. And between us all was one of these plastic pistols. The instructor of this class explained the rules. What we were to do was when she said go, we were all supposed to run to the middle. Everyone runs to the middle and tries to get one of the plastic pistols. The person who did not get the pistol in the middle was supposed to start wrestling and fighting the opponent for their pistol. When she said stop, the team that had the most pistols won, and the losing team had to do like 20 burpees or something like that. She explained that if we happened to get the pistol, we could run away and help one of our teammates fight for a pistol as well. Potentially you could end up with 2 pistols, and that's fine. The point was your team needed to have more pistols than the other team by the time the activity was over. And finally, she told us the key rule: anything goes. She literally said that anything goes, okay? So the first thing that came to my mind was that we were supposed to be doing some kind of weapons disarm. Then she perked up and said, wait a minute, let's not do any weapons disarms. So if you get one of the pistols, just put it in your pants or put it in your pocket or something like that, because I don't want anybody getting any broken fingers. Yeah, that makes sense, you know, because people putting their finger in the trigger well, somebody tries to yank it off their hand and it's going to break their finger. I can see that. Okay, so no weapons disarms. We're all fighting for pistols, but you can't do any weapon disarm techniques. No big deal. This was my first week there, and I know that Krav Maga people are crazy, so I said, well, wait a minute. Are people going to be trying to, like, you know, poke me in the eye and kick me in the groin and stuff? Because that's what they teach in Krav Maga. They teach all these dirty techniques so that you can walk away from a situation alive. And she said, oh, no. Nothing like that. In fact, no striking. Everybody, I know I said anything goes, but we're not doing any striking, okay? Do whatever other techniques you need to do, but don't hit each other. So I'm thinking, okay, we can't hit each other, can't do any weapons disarms. That leaves me with what I'm good at, grappling. So she's like, everyone ready? And the person on the other side of the room crouches down like this, like he's gonna run and bolt out there for the gun. And I didn't want to run out there after the gun because I knew he was gonna run out there, and I didn't want to go grab it and feel like I was, you know, a 4-year-old fighting for a toy train or something like that. So I figured I will just wait for him to grab the gun. After he grabs the gun, he's probably gonna stand up and point it at me. And if he does that, then I'm just gonna take him down. And as soon as I take him down, well, I'll have the upper hand because I was pretty positive that I was a better grappler than any of these people. So the teacher says, ready, go. And just like I thought, the guy comes running out there as fast as he can, and he runs down, and he reaches down and he grabs the pistol and picks it up. Right as he picks it up, I'm standing there waiting for him. Right as he stands, I drop, boom, do a double leg takedown, get on top of him, establish mount, and start to take the gun from him. As soon as I did that, the instructor walked over to me, and she was like, oh, Chris, because she knew that I was a jiu-jitsu guy, just checking out Krav Maga for a few weeks. She goes, Chris, these guys, they don't know any jiu-jitsu or wrestling or anything like that, so don't use any of your jiu-jitsu or wrestling techniques, okay? And I said, okay. And I stood up and looked around the room, confused, because I really wasn't sure what to do. I mean, would any of you guys know what to do? You're not allowed to use any weapons disarms, not allowed to hit the person, not allowed to do any takedowns, not allowed to do any jiu-jitsu techniques. So I look around the room and I see 7 full-grown adults holding onto these plastic pistols, pulling back and forth like a bunch of preschoolers fighting for toys. And I thought it was absolutely ridiculous. And I looked at the teacher and she goes, come on, get on in there. So I walk over there and I pulled a pistol out of one of the waistlines, because you know, somebody had a pistol in their waistline. And I just pulled it out and I'm standing there with this pistol, and immediately like 3 people jump at me trying to get this pistol from me, and they grab it and run away with it. And well, long story short, I ended up doing burpees because I didn't win the game. So after the first week, it was kind of difficult for me to take Krav Maga seriously. There's a lot of ridiculousness in it. That being said, there's a lot of ridiculousness in almost every single martial art. So I didn't judge it too harshly just because of one silly experience, and I tried to keep an open mind and actually learned a lot of really good stuff. My overall score for Krav Maga is 1 thumb up. Every martial art, and every gym for that matter, offers something a little bit different. And from what I've observed, Krav Maga really helps its students build mental prowess, much more than physical. When it comes to overall fitness, building strength or cardiovascular endurance or fitness or weight loss or something like that, Krav Maga, give it a sideways thumb. When it comes to technique and skill development, same, give Krav Maga a sideways thumb. When you get into the whole personal development, meditation, understanding the self, becoming one with nature or whatever, that kind of stuff that some martial arts get into, Krav Maga gets a thumbs down. It doesn't really go into any of that at all. When it comes to self-defense, yeah, Krav Maga gets a thumbs up. Its self-defense techniques are good. I wouldn't say they're any better than most other martial arts, but they're not any worse either. I definitely give its self-defense techniques a thumbs up. And then, where Krav Maga really excels, where I really give it 2 thumbs up, is in the confidence building of its students. All of the Krav Maga students that I saw, the beginners all the way to the more experienced people, from the people who are definitely not naturally athletic, to the little housewives, to the short little tubby dudes, all the way up to the people who are natural athletes and natural martial artists. All of them at this school had immense confidence. During all the practice sessions, no matter what the scenario given was, they all went after the goal that they were given with a ton of tenacity. As every martial artist knows, confidence is one of the most important aspects in a fight. And as every person knows, confidence extends into every other part of your life as well. So at the end of the day, I'm really grateful that I was able to go experience Krav Maga and go train at this gym for a few weeks. Training new styles in general is a lot of fun for me. Not to mention visiting new places and meeting new people is a lot of fun for me as well. So if there are any other martial arts styles or martial arts gyms out there that any of you would like to see reviewed, please leave a comment in the section below and I will consider it for a future episode. Thank you everyone for watching, I really appreciate it. Good luck with your martial arts goals and your fitness pursuits.